Welcome to the Capitol Theater Conversations, Industry Edition. This series of educational and informative offerings is made possible by the generous support of our sponsor, the law firm Capuzzo Lighty, PLLC, with additional support from Baker Boyer Bank, Fresh Hop Group, G.H. Moen LLC, the Moen Family, Red and Carolyn Ramsey, Yakima Sunrise Rotary, and from donors just like you. Welcome back, or if this is your first time, welcome to another edition of Capitol Conversations, Industry Edition. I have the great joy today to speak to truly incomparable and great friend, Jason Graae. Jason, how are you today?
Hey, Charlie. Good seeing you.
It is good to see you as well, in all of our distance.
We are so socially distant.
Appropriately so. But Jason is a cabaret artist. He is a Broadway performer. He is a comedian, entertainer. He does voiceovers and all the things we're going to discover today. But more than anything else, he is just one hell of a nice guy. So it's such a joy to have the chance to talk to you, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to all of us here in Yakima and whoever else happens to be listening.
Well, thank you, Charlie. You know, I have a very, very busy schedule right now, so it was really difficult to squeeze you in.
So, Jason, you live in the LA area.
I do.
Okay.
I live I live under the Hollywood sign. I live under the hoe of the Hollywood sign, actually, Charlie.
As is appropriate. And and you're certainly dealing with all the fires. You're dealing with everything that is COVID related. How is survival mode going in the LA area?
Under the hoe, it's kind of crazy. We, like you in Washington, have had, a lot of smoke in the air and a lot of fires that were, closing in, but it managed to avoid our LA area. But it's just in the last few days we had clear blue skies and, very relieved about that. But the quarantine, it's been a lot for all of us, right? There's a lot going on. I travel for a living, so I'm on the road, most of my life to be able to afford this fantastic life I have in LA, which I hear is great. and so I kind of this year, I kind of made the decision, you know what, I'm going to stay home more and, go back out for TV again and just really stay home and take care of my house here and be with my family. And, that decision was made for me. So that made it very easy. So, I was into it for a while. I've enjoyed the quarantine. I've been taking a writing class with Claudette Sutherland, who was the original Smitty in How to Succeed in Business on Broadway.
Awesome.
I know, it's amazing. And so for 6 months solid, I've been taking that once a week. And that's been kind of, keeping my creative fire alive and, cooking and reinventing as we're all doing. And so I'm hanging out. Healthy.
Your husband is putting up with you in a way that he hasn't had to before.
Yeah, no, the fact that we're still together is huge because we've never spent this much time together. So thank God for Zoom counseling.
Amen. Well, now, you haven't been as isolated as others. Now, pre-COVID, you were doing over the holidays, you were doing a holiday production of Scrooge, is it?
Scrooge and Love.
Scrooge and Love.
Yes.
A sequel to Christmas Carol.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show. This is our third season that we did it in San Francisco at the 42nd Street Moon Theater Company, one of my favorite theater companies. And it's the sequel. It's a year later after Scrooge has been transformed. And he wakes up and the ghosts come back and they see, well, what does all this mean, this transformation, the new Scrooge, if he has no one to share it with? So they take him back to where he met and was dating Belle, the love of his life. And then they split up because he was more interested in money. Yeah. So they go back and he learns more lessons. Poor Scrooge. Those ghosts never leave him alone. They're just like, let me be, but they're constantly coming back. But the score by Larry Grossman and Kellen Blair. Larry wrote Snoopy, Minnie's Boys, Grind, Doll's Life. Just an incredible, incredible composer. And Kellen Blair wrote Murder for Two, which was an off-Broadway hit. And it's great. I love doing it. I have to say, I was a little offended when they offered me Scrooge because I was like, obviously I'm too young. And then I Googled him, and Scrooge is like actually like 52 in the story, so I'm too old. So that was great.
See, you can still pull off those younger roles.
Yes, isn't it wonderful? Thank God for rubber bands. Those younger roles of Scrooge.
So you finished that, and like I said, you were planning on spending more time at home. COVID came along, and you spent a little bit of time actually, honoring all of these restrictions, but then you ended up with a chance to bring back, was it a concert version of Forever Plaid?
Oh my God, you've done like research and everything.
I stalk you on Facebook, you know that.
I love that about you. I do, I feel it. Yes, so we did, well, it's the 30th anniversary of when we opened Forever Plaid off Broadway. 30 years ago, we opened it off Broadway. That's ridiculous.
You were
so
such a pup.
Oh, so young, God. And so, yeah, we did a reunion. We just had like a reunion podcast that one of the guys put together. And it was so much fun. And we all saw each other on a Zoom podcast thing. And the Rubicon Theater in Ventura saw it. And they were starting a drive-in concert series at the Ventura County Fairgrounds. And so they said, wouldn't it be great to do a concert version of Forever Plaid? Because we couldn't do the actual version because of social distancing and the blocking and the props and all that stuff. But we did a concert version of it where we were all like, our microphones were 8 feet apart, and the audience was in cars, and it was like a drive-in theater. We had big Jumbotron theater screens behind us, and it was a ball.
And how many costume changes?
I had no costume changes.
I know you're disappointed.
I was so disappointed. I do like a nice costume change, but yeah, we threw on plaid coats. We did come out at the top in hazmat suits and plaid masks, but then we did take those off. So I guess we had one costume change.
Very cool. Very cool.
But it was very fun. It was so fun, and the audience honked, and they, instead of applauding, and they were flashing their headlights. I loved yelling out, "Show us your headlights! Show us your headlights!" Inappropriate things like that. It was a little strange at first, but I grew to love those honks because that's like the biggest reaction I've heard in a year.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. God.
Oh, is it a series they're continuing to do?
Yes, they had a few things. They had the Jersey Boys do a concert, and they had people that like alums who were in Jersey Boys, and they've had other friends of mine perform and done big band kind of stuff. But yeah, I love that they've just come up with something. Because, everybody's grounded. We're all grounded in the theater. There's nothing for us to do. The theater is the worst place anybody can go right now. So the fact that they had this drive-in situation and they offered us jobs, and for 1 week, I felt like a working actor again, and it was fantastic. I was like, oh, yeah, that's what it's like.
Amen. Yep. Now, speaking of friends, our friend Liz Calloway has been doing some awesome podcasts that she's been doing while she's driving, safely, of course. And you have finally... Say that again?
It makes me nervous. Oh. When she's singing Meadowlark while she's like driving along.
And I figured it was Meadowlark that finally tipped you over the edge and you decided to keep up with the Joneses and also now start having your own podcast.
Yes. Well, it's like a YouTube channel. And so I've been doing lots of, galas for different theater companies because every theater company in America needs money because of what's happening. So I do a lot of galas, and you do a lot of home videos, So I make these videos and I started collecting them, and I thought, I guess I should have a YouTube channel like the kids do, So I'm doing it. I drank the Kool-Aid, and now I have my own YouTube channel.
Well, we will put a link to your YouTube channel alongside the description for this, so that others can come out and enjoy the phenomenal entertainer that you are, and all of the friends that you're bringing along with you in all of these wonderful new ventures that you have.
Thank you, Charlie. It's really nice of you. Sometimes you feel like a used car salesman, just selling your wares. Like, look at this, everybody. But I like doing the videos, and I like the YouTube channel and all that stuff, but I just miss the I miss the live audience. I miss the reaction, just you feel somehow kind of cheap. You're just like, brocka, 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 and it's just silence of the lambs out there. It's like, damn it.
It's like watching Bill Maher. It's like he just threw in his own laugh track just to feel like he was connected in some way.
Oh my God. We did that for Plaids. We actually did a laugh track just for a few jokes. I was like, I begged for it. I said, just a couple, just to pretend that we're really funny.
I need something back. Give me something back. Give me horns. Baby. Give me horns.
Oh, God.
Well, and for those who may not be in the know, you actually were scheduled to be our featured artist for our gala, which was celebrating our 100th anniversary, which got blown up by COVID. So we are looking forward to having you back in our community. But I do want to give people back in our community, since that didn't happen. But for people who don't know the body of work, tell them a little bit about your background, because I love people that they'll hear about this in your show as well. But I love for people to be enticed a little bit from your early beginnings to all those things you've accomplished.
Ooh, it's a fascinating tale. I was so disappointed not to get to come up to your place, because we met in St. Louis.
Oh, so many years ago, and then again, yes.
That was like one of the greatest gigs, and we met. God, oh my God, it was in the 2000s with Liz Calloway.
We don't have to date ourselves; it's fine.
Somebody's got to date us. It might as well be ourselves. But yes, but it was like the middle of winter in St. Louis when Liz Calloway and Alex Rybeck and I came and did a concert at beautiful Edison Theater. That was really, really fun, and we became fast, furious friends.
Okay, I stalk you on Facebook.
Well, there was the same twisted sense of humor that we immediately recognized in each other, so that was good.
Indeed.
Well, so I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and which is a slut backwards, and I started doing community theater there, and I went to school at Cincinnati Conservatory where I met Liz, and I moved to New York and did a lot of off-Broadway and Broadway and a lot of people. And then I, is that going to be cut?
No, you're totally good. We're giving Jason to the audience.
Shit. Now they'll never bring me back.
No, we'll get a bigger audience.
Anyway, so I was there, and so yeah, I lived in New York for like 15 years, and then I came out to Los Angeles to do Forbidden Hollywood, which was the Hollywood version of Forbidden Broadway.
Right.
And I stayed out here because I did a lot of TV, and I really liked the TV world. That was fun. Just a nice change,
But you did lose something. You did lose something in the move, as I recollect.
Well, I held on to it for a while, but yes, while in New York, I had the plum role of Lucky, the voice of Lucky the Leprechaun for Lucky Charms cereal. And so, which I just happened to have.
I love.
The reminder right here. But I was the voice. I'm not the voice anymore. So I look at it every day and I cry. But I was the voice of Lucky for 5.5 years. And when I moved out to LA, I still remained the voice. And I recorded my stuff out here, and the kids and the clients of General Mills were back in New York. And God, it was a good gig. I think I worked like 6 days a year. And it was like, I introduced the rainbow marshmallow shape. And by the way, those marshmallows are nothing like marshmallows. They're packed with sugar, and they speed up the little children's hearts. I don't know. But it's managed to survive. I used to love it. But of course, now I boycott it. Because then after
Except that you advertise it in your home with a massive sign. Other than that, you boycott beautifully.
Well, it was very important, and it's part of the reason I have this house. So I must always, have a constant reminder. But yes, so then eventually they wanted me to move back to New York because they wanted it all, local and everybody to be together. And I was doing a bad series on Showtime, which I won't say the name of, Rude Awakening. And
for all these things, you're grateful but bitter. Yes.
Yes, I'm so bitter. Anyway, so I couldn't move back to New York, so I had to let the the Leprechaun go. And then the show got canceled on Showtime, and Lucky Charms continues. So, who's sorry now? But I'm not bitter. But it was 5.5 years. It was really good. And by the way, the guy that does the voice now, it sounds like he's had like a 6-pack of beer. I mean, he's got like, there is magical marshmallow shape. I was like,
they've expanded their audience. That's all it is. They understand that there are all those people who used to eat it back then, who still eat it now, but they're now drunkards.
That's very true. Very intuitive of you. How interesting that you put yourself in the mind of those old coots.
Yes, you white-haired fool.
Damn it.
Scrooge.
Damn it to hell. I dyed it white. It's really brown. I just dyed it white.
Well, I appreciate that you're lending support to the seniors of your audience base.
Okay, so when I was doing Wicked, they made me stop dyeing my hair. I was dyeing it. I will admit it. I was dyeing my hair, but I'd always leave a little gray around the side just to throw people off so they wouldn't think. But that's always the most obvious, because then there's that line that's like brown, and then all of a sudden it's like white. So
I have a sense I know what you mean. So you did a beautiful name drop there, and you masterfully done. So when you were doing Wicked, so
I thought we had talked about it.
No, you and I talk about it. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. We talked about it pre-show.
Pre-show.
Yes. So I did Wicked. Yeah, and I was close to you guys. I mean, I was up in that area. It was I did the tour for like 1.5 years. Oh, I really didn't mean to like push that. I thought we had brought it up already. But they did make, at my audition, which was a video audition, they said, well, we'd like to offer him the role of the Wizard of Oz, but he has to stop dyeing his hair. And they could tell from the video that I was dyeing my hair. So that's bad. That's
only
bad.
that is only an insult to your stylist. It is not an insult to your hair.
Take that, Fantastic Sam's. But not so Fantastic Sam's, I guess. But yeah, it was a little traumatic for me that for the first time in my life, I had to let it go natural. And I was so relieved, because you never know what's going on under there. And so I was relieved. It's like, okay, that's okay. But yes, I did it for 1.5 years. And I left 1 year ago, like yesterday, in Las Vegas was my last show. So it was an incredible tour. And I was lucky enough to we played Seattle for 4 weeks, which was amazing at that Paramount Theater.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved Seattle so much. And then we went to Portland, which I also loved. And then Eugene. Am I frozen? No, I liked Eugene. Everything around Eugene was beautiful. The audiences were so mellow that I thought, like, are they all stoned? Like, they were so like it was always such a rock concert with our show, and Seattle and Portland were just off the wall. And then Eugene was very quiet, and I thought, are they smoking something?
It's Oregon, so we don't make assumptions in either way.
I love Oregon, though.
Yes,
now
indeed.
I've loved like the Willamette Valley Pinot Noirs and things from, oh my God.
Okay, careful. You must now go on about the Columbia Valley and the Yakima Valley wines, because our wine country, while that is why I'm drawing you and able to draw you to this community, is because you're dropping the hint that you've tasted the Willamette Valley, but you have not tasted the Yakima Valley quite the way you should. So,
I have not, but Columbia, yes, I have. I've enjoyed that a lot and drank a lot of that while I was up in Seattle, because let's face it, The Wizard of Oz, it's like a 3-hour show, Wicked, and The Wizard of Oz is on stage. Somebody clocked it for like 24 minutes. So I was able to go out and enjoy a glass or two of a fine Pinot Noir or Chardonnay, and we enjoyed the Columbia Valley a lot.
And you're not saying between scenes, you're saying afterwards.
I am not saying. No, I would never do that between scenes.
Consummate professional.
And by the way, this is orange juice and water. It's not a screwdriver.
We won't tell people when we're taping this. Okay, so we know that you've had all of this work in the past. Now, you've got your YouTube channel. We'll be seeing you regularly there. We'll make certain that people can have a chance to see you. But Do you have any idea on your end of what people are saying in terms of timelines for gigging and getting work and doing things?
Keeps getting pushed back. They just keep pushing it back. The theater is just the toughest place of all right now to bring back. You know, who wants to? I can't imagine what Wicked will do. You know, there's how many musicians? 25 musicians in a pit.
Yes.
That's not going to happen. And backstage, you know, there's 30-something people in just the cast alone. And then you've got the techies, which is another 30 people. And then you've got the wardrobe and the dressers, you know, and I mean, it's just like crammed. And then the poor audience that's crammed in there. I mean, the theater's tough. They were talking about the spring. They were talking first January, and then it got kind of pushed to the spring for some of the Broadway shows to open. Now, some of that seems to be pushing back to the summer. So, you know, I don't know. Everything I had, of course, was postponed or canceled this year. I had two remaining symphony concerts, one in Denver and one in Pennsylvania, and both of those just got canceled, which I was relieved and not surprised at all, you know. So now I'm hoping for next summer. I certainly hope outdoor theaters and those situations, they can figure that out. But even with Wicked, you know, they're talking about on Broadway of trying to figure it out, how to socially distance the audience and all that. And that's an expensive show. And so, you know, they just can't afford to do it. They're just going to lose more and more and more money. So I'm not sure how they're going to figure this out. I think cabaret and concerts are kind of the key right now.
Yes.
To do 1- and 2-person shows, not to push myself upon you, but, you know, to have one person on stage and a pianist or two, and then have the audience kind of manage to be 3 seats apart. I think there is a way to make that happen, you know, and especially if there's like a live streaming going with it. So you have the live audience situation, but you can also have a live stream and charge for that as well. So people are starting to just entertain that idea a little bit.
And you happen to have the perfect show for it.
I happen to. So listen, if you know anybody.
Well, since I do have so many colleagues and friends and producers who actually check in on these videos, I'd love to hear what the roles are, your dream roles. What would you actually love to have the chance to do?
Well, I've been offered the MC in Cabaret like 5 times, and every time I've gotten offered it, I get a better job. So I wish you'd offer it to me so that I could be sure that I would get a better job and not be able to do your version. But now I'm starting to veer over into that Herr Schultz category. And I would love to play Herr Schultz. Jack Gilford originated that part. He's like one of my heroes. But I really feel I could still do the MC. You know, I have that energy. I have that twisted sense. And I've been running 4 times a week, so I look really good in fishnets. So
that'll be a different link. Yes.
That'll be the after hours version. But yeah, I really would love to do that. The other goal role of mine, which now I'm way too long in the tooth for, was How to Succeed in Business, to play Finch. And I got offered to play Matthew Broderick's Standby on Broadway. And I was just like, I don't want to be that guy. I just don't want to be that guy. Like, tonight, Matthew Broderick won't be performing, but Jason Graae, how do you pronounce? Oh, Graae, he'll be on tonight. And you hear the audience like booing and leaving. I was like, I don't have the constitution to be that guy. So I turned it down. But turns out that was my only chance to play Finch and How to Succeed. So maybe I should have taken it.
Indeed. Roles missed, roles lost. Indeed.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Exactly. Nonetheless. Well,
Yeah.
Jason, I want to thank you so much for taking the time, being with us today, sharing your thoughts. I'm looking forward to having the Yakima audience having a chance to experience the joy that is Jason Graae live and in person as soon as we can, because you're truly one of the most entertaining people I know. You're truly one of the most talented people.
I feel the same way about you, Charlie.
Thank you. And that contract will be signed any day now. So.
I can't wait to come to Yakima. I was so disappointed. And you were the first job I got canceled, so I will always remember you. Postponed.
Postponed.
So Yakima always has a special place in my heart.
And we're looking forward to having you here and being able to share all the wonders and joys that are the Yakima Valley, including all the wine. So,
not to be confused with the Willamette Valley.
Okay. They will forgive me. I don't live there. I have no loyalty to or requirement to know until they actually invite me. Nonetheless.
Willamette Schmillamette.
Wait, you want to be invited back? Shh. So once again, thank you so much, Jason, for taking the time being with us today, sharing a little bit of the joy that I love so much of who you are. And also, I so look forward to having the chance to introduce you even in person to the Yakima audience.
I can't wait.
Indeed. Thank you to our sponsors. And please, everyone, keep in mind, stay connected while we are all mindfully keeping apart. Thanks so much.